Hello, this is Unashamedly Inspired from France, and this is the English version. And I'm really happy to have Axelle today in my Unashamedly Inspired talk.
That's a hard word in English,
Isn't it? Totally, I like unashamedly.
You have to think about it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I always see it written in my mind, so then I'm trying to read from my mind. Here we are. I'm really happy that I have Axelle today on my little show. Because Axelle inspired me. Because she is a vegan cook and she founded a charity. And we want to talk about this today. So happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Axelle, how did it happen that you became a vegan cook? Actually, I think I never met someone, because I love meat. But I'm going to transition. We need to say I'm in a vegan retreat at the moment in France, and honestly, sometimes it's not so easy for me to skip off the cheese and
You are doing well, actually. You're doing well.
Actually, I'm doing it. Yeah. I'm doing well, but from time to time, I need to have a sausage.
And she asked my help when we go to the market to translate some stuff for you.
Yeah, you did well as well. So, how did it came that you just came up with the idea of being a vegan chef or a cook?
A vegan cook. It kind of came naturally in my, I would say, in my life experience. So because I started to work in environmental education.
Okay.
So actually before that, I studied environmental management. And so through my studies, you kind of, have the aspect of the impact of our food choices. And so from now, when I finished university, which was like many years ago, but I still look good.
Yeah, this was what I wanted to say. It looks like you just finished university last month.
Thank you. So then I started to work in environmental education. But then, so it was in Canada.
And in Canada, okay.
Yeah.
This is a new part. I know. I learn about you.
Yeah, it was in Toronto.
Okay.
In 2014.
Yeah.
And then I just felt that I needed to, to express some, to talk about this subject, but more freely, I would say.
That's a nice part, yeah.
So then, and with that also, I left Canada and I went to Colombia, South America.
Oh, okay. From Canada, you went straight to Colombia.
Yeah, that was.
Wow.
I needed some sun and
you can imagine that.
and warm. So I arrived in Colombia. I lived there for 3 years in Medellin, and there I started the charity Amaranto you just mentioned, and so basically Amaranto is about bringing awareness about our food choices and the impact of our food choices, and we do that through 3 main pillars, which are veganism, conscious cooking, and yoga. And so people are just like, why? Well, why do you have yoga with conscious cooking and veganism? But actually it makes sense, because when, with yoga, you kind of get back to your body. You get back this connection with your body. And so you also get back to your food and how you are connected with what you eat. So actually when you get connected again with your body, you actually see differently the way you eat. So that's why we also included wellness overall, and conscious cooking and veganism. So that those are the three pillars we work on in Amaranto, the charity.
Okay.
And so from that, I was like, okay, so I have kind of the environmental education mindset, then I have the charity mindset and how to help people transitioning, and this awareness part about our food choices and the impact of our food choices. But then I was like, okay, I'm vegan, I love to cook. So actually the next step is actually learn how to cook, you know?
Okay.
So after 3 years in Colombia, I left Colombia, which was like heartbreak for me. But I left Colombia and I went back to Toronto to study vegan cooking.
Oh, wow, I see. Okay.
So I studied a little bit vegan cooking. I worked also in a vegan kitchen. And after 7 years of my life traveling, I'm just here in your Baba Lounge cooking.
That's really actually a good point. I can't even imagine that you traveled for 7 years because you look so young. So if I add up the numbers, I think, really 7 years of traveling?
Yeah.
I mean, this is unashamedly, I guess. I mean, traveling 7 years, it's like, but okay, being in Colombia, then having this thing in mind and just, but what actually stroked you to come up with the idea of creating a charity, and what was it that touched you in a way that you thought, okay, now is the point that I'm building a charity?
So what happened is I wanted to do something about accompanying people in, you know, a transition toward a more conscious food consumption. It was really important to me. So kind of by myself, I started to do some program, like 3 months program.
Okay.
Through which I accompany like around like a small group of 10 people. You know, through this idea of being more aware of what we eat and how we eat. And it was like all about, you know, plant-based food. So I started like this, and then my best friend Julia was living with me in Colombia, and she's a yoga teacher.
Okay.
So we just, you know, started to think about, okay, we actually need to have a holistic view and combine the two things together because they are intertwined. The fact is we couldn't find a job that we would like in Colombia that was really aligned with our values. We just, okay, let's start to do our own stuff. And so the good thing is in Colombia it's very informal. So actually, before being a formal and registered French charity, we started as an informal thing. We did our stuff in Colombia, our programs and activities, and you know, to see how it goes, if people like it, and stuff like that. And also, what brought me to that charity creation is the fact that I got very
but this is if life
it's like
if you do life, so then it always happened like this. Okay, wait a minute. Battery. Okay.
Should I continue? Should I wait?
We can just yeah, it's not working.
Or smile.
Smile, always smile. Okay, we are back now.
We are back.
Having new battery and sitting close to the charger. Okay, we were talking about the farmers and how they inspired you.
Yes, so the creation of the charity actually, I got very involved with women farmers in Colombia, and they really inspired me with their life stories. They just welcomed me with open arms, and they just started to share their life stories with me. And so before leaving Colombia, what I was telling you is one of the women farmers, her name is Nelly, and I used to call her my Colombian mom. Before leaving Colombia, I wanted to build something with them
Okay.
So Amaranto, the charity, and the Siempre Vivas, this group of women farmers. And so I talked with them, and we agreed to produce short documentary about them, about how they try to emancipate themselves, and they do it through organic agriculture. So it's.
And did already someone else help them to? How did they come up with the idea to emancipate themselves through this? So how did this happen?
Well, because they live in a countryside, and so they have a small piece of land if they are lucky, and so usually as a woman in the countryside in Colombia, usually your role is just to take care of the house, take care of the kids, and they just say no. Actually, we want something more for us, and we want to be independent. We want to be able to earn money for ourselves and make our own choices, And so starting from that, we talked together, and with my friend Juliana, who is co-producing the documentary with us. So we are, making this project all together. And that's kind of beautiful. Actually, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you told it to me, and I thought, wow, this is actually something I would like to share in this my unashamedly inspiration talk. So because seeing the need and acting on this, I mean, I think a lot of people see the need, but do we really act on it, or do we have an excuse and not doing it, just being too busy, or just leaving it and just being with the idea but actually not acting on it? So and I think always the act, if I see a need, this is what touches me.
And what you say, it's also, there is a tricky part of it, when you kind of unconsciously placing yourself as the hero, as the one who's going to help the other, and it's really tricky because it naturally happens, because you want to help. So unconsciously, you don't think, actually it's unconscious, and you don't think that it can have a negative impact, but actually it can, like being like the hero who is going to kind of save other people. And that's how mistakes happen also. And but usually when we are lucky enough to be actually close to each other, with the woman farmer, with my friend Juliana, who's co-producing the documentary with us, so we are constantly talking to each other, and it's always a huge lesson of humility for me, and I'm growing so much with that project and that charity. It's so beautiful.
Can imagine it. And what you said, being the one who is helping and just resolving it, but I think the really tricky part is, how do you empower the people that they can do it by themselves?
I think we empower each other. Really. Because, to be honest, I think what Amaranto does, the charity, is to give them the space to express and to leave a message, I think it's what we do. And I mean, it's a big thing, but it's also a small thing, because they are the one who live the way they live, who fight for what they fight for, but still it's like, I think the combination of each part of the.
And then the other thing I was thinking, you said it's about food, yoga,
and conscious cooking.
And conscious cooking. What jumped to my mind is it that you're doing it in Colombia, or, and then Colombia is in my mind, it's truck scene and mafia, and then I'm thinking, do the people have other things to do, or just sometimes you say, okay, this cooking thing, and then yoga, it's just about the Western, and they just got used to it. But I can't imagine how it is in Colombia. And are you running those programs in Colombia?
Well, we started in Colombia.
Okay.
Actually, now at least I'm talking about Medellin, which is the city where I used to live.
Okay. And how big is this? I don't know where it is.
It's the second biggest city in Colombia. The first one is Bogota.
Oh yeah.
And the second biggest one is Medellin. Yeah. So your question is if it's like a big thing, like conscious cooking and vegan.
Yeah.
So yoga is starting to be very like developed in the main cities like Bogota, Medellin. Conscious cooking, it's tricky actually. When I kind of ran this program about accompanying people for 3 months toward a more conscious how do you say that,
more conscious lifestyle,
but focus on food. A more conscious food consumption. It's tricky because on the way, like on one hand, it's, I would say, easier in Colombia to be in contact with farmers. So here in Europe, it starts to be a big thing. You want to, like, everything has to be local, and obviously it's the message we need. And you must get your food as local as possible. In Colombia, it's still very easy to get in contact with farmers. But also they have the big influence of North America, unfortunately. And so in a way, in Colombia, if you have the North American lifestyle, it's, oh my God, it's amazing. So it's like, it's like those two things that are living all together in that system, which is a little bit tricky. Because with all the North American, influence, you have all the processed food. Like a lot of processed food, So yeah, it's kind of both ways.
And then what jumps to my mind is, if you have this, I mean, probably people are really proud to live the North American lifestyle. So this seems to me a step up for them, reaching that point where we can live like North Americans. So this probably, I would say, is like a feeling of being rich, being wealthy, to be able to have that.
Exactly.
And then someone comes and says, okay, wait a minute, let's have conscious food. Let's have local food. And then yoga. So this, for me, it sounds challenging.
It is. It was challenging. And so, because with Amaranto, the third pillar is veganism. To be honest, it's not very developed. All these vegan food options, you don't find it that much in Colombia today. And so when I started to tell myself, okay, I really want to learn how to cook vegan, I had to leave, because basically there were no options for me, or at least really not enough.
There's also some part of me would say, okay, if poor people, I would thinking, okay, poor people probably are more like vegan, not even using that name, but just being vegan because they don't have another choice. So because they use the plants from the land, but don't have money to buy cheese or meat. So I would think, okay, Colombia, maybe it's the people in the poor areas are more used to it, but not using that name. I don't know how this.
Well, I can't talk for them, but from my understanding, I would say not really, because obviously, corn and beans are two foundation of the meals, which are, per se vegan.
Yeah.
But actually, because of this big globalization, you can get access to very cheap meat and very cheap dairies.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that are completely unhealthy because they are really poor quality meat and dairies. But you know, even if you don't have a lot of money, you can always have access to it. But it's very processed and very unhealthy. Yeah. So actually, you still find that.
Oh,
but,
wow.
Yeah.
But this sounds for me like you always had been your time ahead. In a way.
Yeah.
Because if civilization or a country is in that going up phase where they just want to have what others had.
Yeah.
So I would say in North America, you can totally see that people are just turning into veganism and all those different kind of food behavior, especially in Los Angeles or in New York. Yeah. So where these are the melting pots for creating new food.
Yeah.
And but I think it sounds challenging for me if a whole country is in the upward development.
Yeah.
Then it sounds that you really have been upfront or like a leader, and not much people just could see it.
Yeah, true.
But who have been your clients then?
That's a good question because I'm really bad with that. Like, don't ask me to look for clients and whatever. I'm like the worst for it. Like, honestly, my way of approach, if I can say it like this, it was to make connection, but mainly people that would work in social and environmental fields.
Okay, yeah.
And from that, because as I told you, Colombia is still very informal. So you just chat with them, you share your ideas about whatever project you want to do, and
immediately you find people.
You find people just to do it with you or to do it alone. But you know that somebody is going to help you in some way, and people are really keen on just doing it. You know. I want to be part of this project too. Okay, let's do it, you know. So I wasn't in the mindset of I have to find clients.
You just inspire people.
I don't know, but I just talk about it, and some people say, "Oh yes, I would like to try it with you." Okay, let's try. And
nice.
That's how it goes. So I didn't earn any money with that, but I learned so much.
You learned so much, yeah. I think sometimes it's not about money. It's just putting yourself out there, just getting the experience, and then this leads you to another point in life. Yeah. And even you inspired, I guess, a lot of other people. And you actually inspired yourself. You empowered the women over there. You empowered yourself.
I empowered myself, definitely. Yeah. And I met, like, actually my biggest gift is just the connection I made with those people. Yeah, and actually I have a good story about that because so I run one of this program, you know, about accompanying a group of people toward organic food consumption. It was more focused on organic food, and I had so this, you know, we bound together because we're a group. We spent 3 months together, and a few months ago, I received like a picture of the women farmers on who we are making the documentary, and they actually met 3 indigenous people from north of Colombia. They organized you know, a meeting together between the women farmers and those indigenous people from North Colombia. I was like, how did that happen? How come, you know? And actually, one of the women who participated in the program I ran a few years ago, she's the one who organized that meeting. Because she got inspired, and you know, she stayed in contact with the women farmers, and so she decided to just organize that meeting between indigenous people and women farmers. I was like, that's so beautiful. It was so beautiful.
And I think this is really what I also try to built with unashamedly inspired, because I think we inspire people on a certain level, but sometimes we don't have an idea about how we impact them through being ourselves and to building some initiative. And I always had people who inspired me and actually helped me to grow. And so this growing, I just want to give it back. And I think then in this we create a really special field. Because I experienced how it is if someone is supporting you. So I know which impact it had on me, and so I can give it back, and this is really beautiful.
It is. And it just showed that, you know, we are just human that are trying to do something that matters to us.
And I think the thing which matters to us have a greater impact because they come from the heart.
Exactly.
So let us know where we can see your documentary.
So we are still on it because it's not done yet. So I'll let you know for sure when it's going to be done. Obviously, you know, we are late because of all the situation that happened. As like we are still in it, but all with the COVID situation, obviously, they couldn't go, and because Colombia is still in lockdown. I think actually tomorrow they are going to stop the lockdown. So you know, so they've been in the lockdown for actually since March, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But so, even if they're just going out of lockdown, are you shooted every footage already, or is it like that you need to shoot over there to finish your documentary? So
we like one or two more footage. And then so we started a little bit about, you know, how to, this is, you know, all the producing stuff that I don't know anything about it. My friend Juliana who is
she knows
doing
it.
But she started to kind of, you know, put things together to have like the main
body of it.
Body of the documentary. And then I guess very soon she can do the one or two footage that she needs to do that we have left. And then, but I think it's going to be at the end of the year that will be ready.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. And then the last question would be, where do we find your charity in case someone wants to donate on that project?
Oh yeah, thank you.
Because I think charities sometimes, having some lack of money.
Yes, true. We need money. There's no secret on that. So the name is Amaranto.
Okay. So we'll have that link down. In the description.
Yes. We work in Spanish and French, but soon we'll have it in English too. The Instagram is Amaranto Conciencia.
Okay. Can't write that. So
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much for having you. It was really nice to hear about it, and
thank you so much. Thank you for listening.
All right. Bye bye from Baba Lounge in Chalabre.